Coming up on Morning Drive, that guy, he's still the champion golfer of the year. But that precious prize, spots are on the line on a championship Sunday to get into the 146th Open next week. Meanwhile, the west coast of Scotland, it is beautiful. The Scottish Open will finish today, and we'll be going live there all morning long. Speaking of majors, this guy, oh, he's major, and he's going for 4 in a row at the Senior Players. We'll discuss that and so much more on a championship Sunday on Morning Drive. And good morning on this Sunday. This is Studio AP, and it is Morning Drive. Gary Williams, Paige McKenzie, Robert Dameron, Amanda Blumenhurst. History is going to be made today, and I'm not talking about who's going to win the U.S. Open. She's going to make history today. We'll explain that a little bit later on. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Gary.
How are you?
That was a very good tease. I'm even intrigued.
You'll have to wait. You'll have to wait. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
Good. You know who's doing well?
Not do well.
You know who's doing well? All the celebrities out at the American Century Championship, and Justin Timberlake really, I mean, he gets into it. Okay, he just hiked a basketball to Tony Romo, who then threw an alley-oop from about 30 yards to Steph Curry. Now look at it from a different angle. This may be the best throw Tony Romo has made in his career.
No one's there to pick it off.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Wow. Wow.
Now, the question is that better than this? This was Friday. This is Steph Curry receiving a pass from Aaron Rodgers. Was the reception better for Curry than the alley-oop conversion by Curry?
No. Alley-oop conversion 100%. I will say, obviously, Aaron Rodgers threw it behind him. It was an excellent catch.
Yes, it was.
But come on, alley-oop. Alley-oop.
I think you're looking at the throw. The Rodgers throw wasn't as good, but the catch was much, much better. Behind him, he hit the dirt.
Oh, for sure.
I like the Aaron Rodgers throw.
I like the alley-oop.
I like the alley-oop.
And the common denominator is Steph Curry. He's just an all-around athlete.
Plus,
so he's in both of them.
You had JT hiking a ball.
He's bringing sexy back, right?
Exactly. There you go, Amanda. All right, what is happening now? Well, there's a lot that's going to go on, certainly, and we know that this will be the conclusion of the Open qualifying series, and the John Deere has 1 spot on the line, and the Aberdeen Asset Management has 3 spots on the line. Those are subplots inside of a championship Sunday and who's going to win, and we know that these are the final qualifying sites. You can see the accompanying names. Ian Poulter, who qualified at his home course at Woburn, he's trying to win the Scottish Open. And they're all trying to get to Birkdale because the Open starts this coming Thursday. Now, this is proper Scottish weather. Look at that guy says, I don't need no stinking umbrella.
That's a proper Scotsman.
All right, now, Padraig Harrington was the story, Robert, for 36 holes, but this was the story of Saturday. Ugh.
And we did a bit yesterday on his feet moving when he's swinging, and I thought that might hurt his rhythm in a lot of wind and bad weather, but it was the putter that really set Padraig back once again.
This is not a replay.
No.
That's the same distance, same miss.
Yep.
He would shoot 79. He's now tied for 23rd. A couple of Americans in contention. Matt Kuchar, birdie putt on 11.
Back up the hill, nice and straight. Matt Kuchar, he's thinking about getting his first major championship.
Only thing left not on his resume. Now, Ricky Fowler, same thing really for him. Here he is, birdie putt on the 3rd.
How did they get the chalk line down? It's like a little ray of sunshine right to the hole before he putted.
He would shoot 74. He's tied for 8th. He's 4 shots out of the lead. Andy Sullivan, who is a colorful guy, I thought that he would react a little bit more. This was subdued for Andy.
He just expected it to go in. And there was a creek on the other side. That was coming in screaming and checking. Great shot.
Well, Andy is an Englishman. So is Callum Shinkwin. They're coming out of the woodwork in England. These players. He's 24 years of age. He's 405th in the world. That almost went in the hole. He shot even par 72. He is a co-leader. Now, speaking of England, another Union Jack. Ian Poulter, lengthy birdie putt on 7.
And everything that Ian's been through in the last few months with the losing his card, finding out he got his card back, and then the second at the Players' Championship, a couple shanks in there. It seems like something good's going to happen.
We're going to delve into that. Here he is, right rough on 8.
And this is a strength, this and the putter of Ian's game. He's not the biggest hitter, not the best ball striker, but he controls the short irons and makes putts.
Yeah, kept that below the hole. He would shoot 71. He is a co-leader. So you see those two Englishmen at the top of the leaderboard, joined by Andrew Dote as well. The final grouping of the day will be Poulter and Dote at 10:35. Andy Sullivan is 2 shots back. Paul Dunn from Ireland, he is 3 shots back. And Ricky Fowler, Ricky is a great chaser. Don't count him out. And with that being said, we may get a little weepy this morning because for the last 2 weeks, they've just simply crushed it. The dynamic duo, as we say good morning, and it's going to be really, really disappointing when this day is over because we have to break up the dynamic duo of Di and Damon. How are you guys?
We do? This is it?
Wow, this is it. This is the last time we're going to be together.
It's been a lot of
Who
fun.
knows? It has. It's been great. Gary, good to hear you. And we wish you were here, of course. A beautiful sunny day here in Bonnie, Scotland. And you've just spoken about a 3-way tie at the top of the leaderboard. One of those guys, quite a lot of Englishmen, as you also alluded to. Ian Poulter is 9 under par. And what a turnaround it's been in the last 12 months. Damon, you spoke to him after his round yesterday. What did he say?
I tell you what, we talked a lot about fight. I think what we've seen this week has really been a metaphor for Ian Poulter's entire career, rising from an assistant pro in England to one of the best players in the world and a Ryder Cup hero. And this season in particular, coming back from a foot injury, and Dameron talked about it, fighting to get his PGA Tour status, the runner-up finish at the Players' Championship, having to go through qualifying, as Gary mentioned, at Woburn just to get into the Open next week. He's had to fight a lot this season, fight a lot through his career, and fight a lot this week. He said on Thursday he wasn't swinging that well. He was a little bit out of balance, went to the driving range, worked on that, and felt like he was striking the ball a lot better on Friday and Saturday. He knows what's at stake today, has not won on the European Tour really anywhere in 5 years' time. I love what he said when he left us yesterday. There's still life in the old dog yet. He believes he can get it done today.
Wow, so many fans, so many Poulter fans here supporting him, and a couple of other guys that you alluded to as well. Callum Shinkwin, the Englishman, who I spoke to after his round yesterday, doesn't give that much away. Graduated onto the European Tour back in 2015, had a pretty good result in Ireland last week. He has qualified for the Open Championship before. That was last year. Finished tied 9th at the French, then went on to finish tied 8th here at the Scottish. So a bit of a feel-good factor feeling going on coming back here. So he's going for Open qualification spots and also to win here. But I said, what is it going to be like playing in front of these huge crowds tomorrow? You're out and playing with some of the best guys in the world. And he said, I'm just going to take each shot at a time. I think he's being a little bit guarded. Someone who wasn't as guarded, Andrew Dote, the Australian, who said he's so motivated today playing in that final group. He cannot wait. And yesterday, the weather conditions suited him. He said he didn't get that technical. He kind of got out of his way because it was all about feel. I went and watched him on the back nine, and my goodness, it was blowing a gale and really tricky to read putts and all sorts. So he's a 2-time winner on the European Tour, one in 2010, 2015. He wants to get into his first major. He looks motivated. So very different mindsets from those two. But so many Americans, a few Americans came across.
Yeah, it's always nice to see.
A few missed the cut.
Yes,
Ricky Fowler, Matt Kuchar, they made it. You spoke to Ricky, and Gary's just said, watch out for him. He can be a chaser. What did he say to you?
Yeah, I felt like there was a bit of a missed opportunity in his round yesterday. Ricky told me he wasn't really happy with his putter over the last 5 or 6 holes. Had some opportunities to get a little closer to the lead. A particular example was on 18, had about a 4 or 5 footer for birdie that would have closed out his round and pulled him within 3 shots. He missed that putt, tapped in for par. Instead, he chases by 4. But as Gary also mentioned, he knows he's done this before. He's been a chaser here 2 years ago at Gullen. Had a 2-shot deficit to make up. Made a great wedge on 18. Ended up edging out Raphael Jacquelin and Matt Kuchar to get it done for the first time. So he knows he has the mojo here in Scotland, but I think he feels like he missed up some opportunities yesterday. yesterday. How about his good buddy Kuchar?
Yeah, Cooch, who finished just behind him at Gullen, didn't he, a couple of years ago. Cooch was in great form when I spoke to him yesterday. He said a lot of his buddies from the States would have loved to come over and test themselves in those conditions yesterday. He was hitting 7-iron, 120 yards. Ooh. It was unbelievable. And he's had, a great season, 4 top 10s, tied 4th at the Masters, tied 16th at the US Open. Loves coming over and testing himself in these links conditions. And he said, to get around like that under his belt in those conditions, it may stand him in good stead for the Open Championship at Royal Birkdale next week. So a lot to play for, a lot on the line, so many guys in contention. Today is going to be an awesome day of golf. And for now, Gary, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Di, Damon, thanks. We're going to take advantage of you guys all morning long. We've got a national championship on the line in the state of New Jersey, the U.S. Women's Open, the 72nd edition, and Shan Feng is your leader. 3rd round of 71 as we send it over to Paige and Amanda.
And let's take a look back at exactly what happened yesterday. One of the early favorites, Amy Yang, here on the 10th.
She is just playing consistently beautiful golf. She's had 3 career wins, but you know what? No major. So she's looking for this to be the major, rolls it to within a few feet.
Well, that would certainly help. That birdie would move her to 6 under, continue climbing the board. Well, the story of the week so far, a 17-year-old amateur making a charge. This is Hijin Choi.
She is an amateur, but isn't playing like one. She's number 2 ranked amateur and has done a fair share of successful time on the LPGA Tour.
And that birdie would take her to 7 under here now for another chance at birdie and to take a share of the lead.
She's been on a birdie roll. This is the 17th birdie of the tournament.
That would again join the lead with Shan Feng at 8 under. And now on the 17th hole, Amy Yang looking for a piece of the lead as well with this birdie opportunity.
She's such a consistent player, but also a consistently great putter. She is number 2 in putts in green regulation and showing why.
Yeah, and this is an event where Shan Feng had the overnight lead, made 17 consecutive pars leading into this 18th hole. Can she make a birdie on the last?
It looks like this might be the hole because she's sticking it so close. Great iron play today and knocks it within a few feet.
Yeah, her struggles were definitely on the green, not in the ball striking. So now just a short putt left for her birdie on the 18th.
And this always makes dinner taste a little bit better.
That it does. So Shan Feng, now the overnight leader, moving into the final round at 9 under par, being chased by, like the aforementioned, 17-year-old amateur Choi, and Amy Yang just 1 shot back. Keep an eye on that Sung Hyun Park as well. Very successful rookie, nearly found her way into the playoff last year in the Women's U.S. Open. But all eyes will be on Shan Feng after 54 holes, holding the lead. Amanda, what have you seen in her game that's worked so well?
I am so impressed right now with her ball striking. There was a stretch where she has actually had 23 pars in a row. So
wow.
She's playing very consistent golf. The putter is what is kind of been her Achilles heel a little bit. She had 33 putts yesterday. However, that stat can always be a little misleading because if you're hitting that many greens in regulation, you don't have that many opportunities to get up and down and make your putt stats a little bit lower. However, she is hitting that many greens. She only missed 1 fairway. It was on 18, which she happened to birdie. So there's that. But she already has a win this year, so she's got that under her belt. She already has a major champion under her belt. So she is one of those names that you don't think about as a household name, but is consistently at the top, has had 7 career wins, looking obviously to make it number 8 and 2nd major. So just her consistency is what so impresses me.
And of course, this is the number 6 player in the world. And the one thing that I did notice that I'm a little bit concerned about moving into today, if there is a concern about Shan and her ball striking, is that her tendency is to be a little bit closed in her alignment. And what happens when you get a little bit closed is a pull tends to come out. This was from the Friday on the 18th, and the 2 major pulls that I saw actually came on the 18th hole on both Friday and Saturday. This is the tee shot on her final hole. You can see how closed her stance is. She is aimed about 25 yards to the right of what would be the intended target and ends up coming over the top. This is a very common tendency for people that get off on the alignment. So it's something I'm keeping an eye on for because I definitely noticed throughout the day yesterday the stance tended to be a little bit closed, and that that can affect you. It get a little nervy coming down the stretch.
And it's so common for your body's athletic enough to want to correct it. So I'm aimed really far right. I'm going to bring it over so I don't hit it into that bunker. And so that's what obviously she's doing. Just if she tweaks that a little bit, she's going to be deadly. I mean, she's hitting it that well.
She is the one to watch. Gary, what else is happening?
What is happening on the PGA Tour is that Patrick Rogers, who a lot of people assume may have already won on the PGA Tour, well, he hasn't yet. But this is a young man who's now in a position through 54 holes, third round of 68. A little faulty with some short iron shots coming in. He admitted it to our Chantel McCabe after his round, but he's got a 2-shot lead. Daniel Berger, that was Robert Dameron's mover. Yes.
And he moved.
Penske moving day. Oh, he moved all right. He is a guy who just got deprived of his second win of the season, pardon me, by Jordan Spieth at the Travelers. So he is tied with Scott Stallings, and Bryson DeChambeau shot 70, so he's 4 back. But Patrick Rogers, everyone assumed that he was going to be in a position to have already won. It hasn't happened yet. He's still very, very young. Your thoughts about the way you see that first page?
You know, actually, I want to look at the last group. You've got Berger, who played a great round yesterday. I mean,
yes.
One of the rounds of the year, the 63. And then you've got Rogers, who, like you said, admitted, I didn't have my good stuff really yesterday. That mentality going into today, Rogers still has a 2-shot lead, knowing, you know what? I held on to the lead. I even actually increased my lead a little bit, not playing my best. Whereas Berger's thinking, you know what? I threw everything maybe at him yesterday. It's tough to back that.
Why?
Low.
Why?
Well, the mentality of it is tough because the momentum is broken. Your sleep, your dinner, and all that. The other thing is the intangible part that it's hard to explain. Days just don't work out the same. You don't wake up feeling the same. You get different numbers. The pins are in different locations. Yesterday you read them so easily. Today, not so much, you know. And it's just, we've seen it time and time again. Those low rounds rarely get backed up with another one.
You know, Patrick Rogers did everything at the amateur level. He's part of that vaunted 2011 high school class that included Jordan Spieth and Daniel Berger and Justin Thomas. The pressure to win for the first time, you felt it at the Nelson, and you had a litany of World Golf Hall of Fame members that were trying to chase you down, including Tiger Woods, who's not in the Hall of Fame yet, but
I'm pretty sure.
I think he's going to get in.
Yeah.
But the pressure to win for the first time, what does it feel like?
Overnight, it's tough. Trying to sleep the night before, and then reminding yourself, you know, I'm not supposed to be thinking about my first win yet. I'm at dinner or I'm trying to go to sleep, but I am. I can't stop it. So do you embrace it and say, you know what, I'm going to take this challenge, I'm going to enjoy it, or do you just try to fight it off and treat it like another day? I think the best way to do it is treat it like another day. I'm play with my friends, my game's good enough, just let what happens happens, because if you try to push and try to force that first win, bad things can happen.
You mentioned friends. He's got a lot of friends and family supporting him, which has made him feel really, really comfortable. What else is happening? What do you think?
What else?
He's happening. He's happening every week, and he's happening at this event. He's looking for his 4th straight Constellation Senior Players Championship, and he will be off at 1:50 this afternoon. He's 18 under par. Ho-hum. He just went out just a little 66. Brandt Jobe is playing exceptionally well. He shot 65. He's a shot back. They've kind of separated themselves by 6 and 5 shots, respectively, from the likes of Scott McCarron and Corey Pavin. So, you know, there are a lot of things that you can learn from the best players in the world. So let's take a look at Bernhard Langer. A few examples, a little watch and learn. What do you see right here?
Sure, this guy again. I mean, we've covered almost everything, but I think I've picked up a couple little things that Langer does that is different. And he's a tremendous iron player. Rarely ever misses a shot left. Well, rarely misses one right either, let's be frank. But he doesn't miss many left, and I'll show you why, and a good thing you can do or a feeling you can have. It's kind of like Langer. Now let's go ahead and watch the shot. And watch, he's got a little bit of a whirly bird follow through. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to show you a sec. Well, look at this shot again, dead at it. Rarely does he leave the flagstick. If you feel like you're turning the club face over, missing it left, see this follow through where the club is pointed almost straight forward, like if I'm set up this way, it's pointed to you. So if you feel like through impact, the club always points that way, you can't actually do it in a full motion, but that feeling will slow the club face rotation down just enough to feel like the ball cannot go left. So just feel like you're finishing that way, like Langer.
All right, very good. The next one we're going to look at, this is his 3rd on 11. What do you see here?
Well, see what we've got some yellow lines drawn. Look how straight his back, hips, knees, everything is. It's the setup is a setup for success. There's nothing wrong, even though he's got the longer putter. Everyone's setup would benefit just like that. And one thing you should do to get that feeling, and this is the easiest thing in the world, at your house, just put your back up to the wall. Stand straight, bend over, grab your putter. That way you know everything's in line. Then take that feeling to the course. You will be set up for success. Let's roll it. Spoiler alert, he misses this one. But I like the angle. I like the angle. If he would have just hit it.
If he would have just hit it. Now, this little hybrid shot here, what do you see here?
A long time ago, when my playing days, my best stretch of ball striking ever came after a dream I had. This is a true story of a wrecking ball. And I get out of bed, and there's a wrecking ball attached to a crane. I get out of bed, and I think, well, when the wrecking ball is going back to hit the wall, the back side of the crane is actually getting closer to the target. So let's watch Bernard's lower body action.
Okay.
Look right here. Now at the top, see how his backside, the backside of the crane, the wrecking ball being the club head, got actually closer to the target. That is perfect lower body action. There's no slide, no swaying.
Right.
Just a turn. Now watch this. On the way through, if he keeps going, backside of the crane, when the wrecking ball comes in and hits the target, the backside of the crane gets further from the target, just like that. So if you think the back of the crane, wrecking ball, your lower body action will be like that. Maybe he is a wrecking ball in the golf course.
He truly
is.
is.
Good analogy.
He is. Good stuff. All right, for now, Paige, tee sheet. What's coming up?
Well, we had stacked leaderboards all over the world. We also have a stacked tee sheet, starting with the man that was known as an escape artist and a magician around the greens. As we prepare for Golf Channel documentary Summer of '76, Robert will look at some of the best from Seve Ballesteros. Not his wardrobe choices, but his best shots from around the greens. And the weekend is filled to the brim with professional golf from around the world. We have you covered as we take you inside the ropes all show long from the best in the world, from both the men of the PGA Tour and women live from the Women's US Open. It is a championship Sunday and we're getting you set early. And we hope you find time to work on your own game today. So Robert and Amanda will tackle everything on the greens to help you with your confidence in putting. All that and more. We are here with you until 10 a.m. Eastern for an extended version of Morning Drive.
Well, did I invite this song?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I have that in my head.
By Miley Cyrus.
No. She kind of like on the wreck.